What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel. In the ACC, North Carolina will go on the road to face Wake Forest Friday night at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Central Time. Both teams undefeated, 2-0 coming into this game. Wake Forest is favored by 3. They just keep on doubting North Carolina. They were underdogs against Miami last week. They proved Vegas wrong. They're underdogs again this week. The over-under is 66. Expect some points in this one. The game is on ESPN. It's a tough one to call, though. I really liked Wake Forest coming into this season, but North Carolina has impressed me so far. So it's very tough to really get a gauge on which way this game is going to go. I think it will be a pretty high-scoring game, a shootout. I expect both offenses to be able to put up a lot of points, but it should be a lot of fun on Friday night, and an early kickoff there as well. Kansas at Boston College, September 13th. That is Friday night, 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time. Boston College favored in this one by 21. Yes, 21 points. I think that really goes back to their opening game. They had that big win against Virginia Tech. Kansas lost to Coastal Carolina last week, so this game should not be close. I don't think you're going to see a ton of points in this one. Boston College, though, should roll. Virginia Tech at home against Furman. The game is on the ACC network. It'll be the early noon kickoff, noon Eastern Time, 11 Central Time. It'll be a game that will not be close. So Virginia Tech trying to build some confidence before heading back into ACC play. North Carolina State at West Virginia. NC State 2-0 coming in. They haven't really played anybody. West Virginia got destroyed by Missouri last week. This game is going to be on FS1, 11 o'clock Central Time. NC State is favored by 6. This, to me, though, is a game that really could go either way. West Virginia is going to have home field advantage. They're going to be really looking for a bounce-back week after last week. NC State hasn't been tested yet, so I don't think you would assume that NC State is going to win this game. To me, again, it could go either way. Don't really know a whole lot about these teams. Both teams had some question marks coming in to this season, and we haven't really seen a lot. I mean, West Virginia, again, got blown out this past weekend. NC State hasn't been tested. So we'll find out a lot, I think, about these two teams and where their programs are after this matchup. Penn State hosting Pittsburgh. This game will be at noon Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central Time. And you see there, Penn State favored pretty big, 17-point favorites. They pretty much own Pittsburgh the last couple of years that they've played. The over-under is 53. This one will be on ABC, so it'll be a national broadcast game. Pitt has not impressed me so far. Just their inability to run the football, I think, is a big issue because that's what they like to do. Had 2,000-yard rushers last season. I think they missed those guys, and I think it's really going to hurt them. Penn State has been rolling on offense, but they haven't really played anyone. So we learn a lot more about Penn State in this game. They should win easily. If the game winds up being pretty close, then I'm probably going to look at it and say, well, look, Penn State's really not that good. Maybe they're a little bit overrated. But if they go out and win by 40, then all of a sudden, Penn State is a real contender in the Big Ten. I think for Pittsburgh, you just want to keep this game pretty close. I don't really think they have any legitimate chance of winning this one. But if they can just keep it close, I think that would be good, to kind of help build up their confidence before they head back into conference play. Georgia Tech hosting the Citadel. Remember, the Citadel put up a pretty good fight against Alabama last year. And it's interesting, they run the triple option. Georgia Tech moving away from the triple option. Now they have to defend it. This will be a game that should not be close, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is. Going to be interesting to see how that one turns out. Miami hosting Bethune Cookman. Miami's 0-2, but it looks like they should be able to get their first win of the season. I don't see them having any problems in this game, so I expect Miami to roll against an FCS opponent. Louisville going on the road to face Western Kentucky. Louisville is a 10-point favorite in this matchup. They looked really good last week. I know they didn't play anybody good, but you saw some glimpses of a really solid team against Notre Dame, and now a nice performance last week. I think they're able to go on the road and handle business here. I think this game is actually in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be an interesting scene there. But again, I think Louisville should be able to handle business, and I think they're going to cover the 10. I think they win this game pretty easily. Interesting matchup here as Duke will go on the road to face Middle Tennessee. Tennessee's not a bad team. They scored some points against a very solid Michigan defense. So this is one that I think probably should have been on our upset alert video. But you see both teams coming in 1-1. It'll be a night game there for Middle Tennessee. And I don't know why the line wasn't listed here, but Duke is favored by about 6.5 points in this matchup. So they are expected to win, but again, it's no guarantee. This is going to be, I think, a very hard-fought game. And Duke had better be careful. We learned a lot about this Duke team after this game, though, against Alabama. You know, they didn't look great, but it was Alabama. So we're going to find out, is Duke bad this year, or was it just because they're playing Alabama? If they go in here and win this game easily, then you know, all right, Duke's still a pretty good team. Of course, David Cutcliffe, great head coach, but they don't have Daniel Jones at quarterback, and a lot of people, you know, trying to figure out just how good Duke is going to be this year. This will be a very good test for them early in the season. The primetime game on the ACC network this week will feature Virginia hosting Florida State, a big matchup really for both of these teams. The odds have Virginia favored by 7.5 points, and I can understand why. Virginia has looked very solid through 2 games, and a team that I'm really high on. You guys know I've had them in my top 25 since the preseason, and they should. Just looking at it on paper, you would expect them to be able to win this game. The defense that they have, one of the top defenses in the ACC, shouldn't be any real trouble in this matchup. But then you look at Florida State, they've really struggled. They lose to Boise State. They almost lost to ULM last week. That is a little bit deceptive though, because Louisiana Monroe is a very, very solid Group of 5 team this year. I'm telling you, I was high on them coming into this season. I expected that game to be pretty close. Now, Florida State should have been able to put that game away in regulation, no doubt about it. It took a missed extra point for them to actually win that game. So they should have won that game a lot easier, but still, it wasn't a huge surprise to me that the game was close. And Florida State still has some talent on this roster. Cam Akers has had a great start to the season. Can they go on the road and compete with Virginia? It's going to be tough. You got a team that is coached really well, that's playing up to their potential in Virginia, and then you have a team that has some talent, but there's some question marks about the coaching for Florida State. And they have a lot of talent, but they are not living up to that potential. Can they finally put it together? I wouldn't be surprised if they're competitive in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Virginia blows them out and wins this one by 28. I mean, either way, it wouldn't surprise me. Which Florida State team is going to show up, the team that is capable of being a good team, or the team that has really struggled the last couple of years? That's going to be the big story there. Who will win it? Virginia, I think, should be able to take care of business. Should Clemson be on upset alert this week? They go on the road to face Syracuse. And, of course, we know last year Syracuse came very close to beating Clemson. That was a game where Trevor Lawrence went down with an injury. And Kelly Bryant had just left the program, left the team. And Clemson went in there, and they almost lost that game. Chase Bryce came in, had a very nice finish to that game, had a big conversion to kind of keep the game alive for Clemson. They're able to find a way to win it. And they showed in that game that it's not just the quarterback. They have so many ways that they can beat you. And that was just a huge, huge win for Clemson, because who knows how the season would have gone if they had lost that game. And then you go back a couple of years ago when Syracuse upset Clemson the last time they played at Syracuse. Could this year be another upset? I don't think so. Syracuse has really not been impressive to me so far. Offensively against Liberty, they didn't do a whole lot. Against Maryland, they were blown out. Vegas doesn't think this game will be close. Clemson is favored by 28 points in this one. 28 points. It's the primetime game on ABC. It'll kick off at 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time, or shortly after that, if you're talking about the actual kickoff. But yeah, coming into this game, Syracuse has not really impressed me a whole lot. Clemson has really impressed me. They've already been tested. They played a conference game against Georgia Tech. They played Texas A&M, an SEC team, and they passed the test both times. Neither game was close. They looked dominant just like they did last year. I don't think they have any trouble in this game. Now, 28 is a lot. That is a very, very high spread. I don't know if they cover the 28 points in this game. Maybe they do. It really just comes down to probably how early they take their foot off the gas. But I don't think Syracuse has any chance in this game. That's why it was not on upset alert. I don't see it happening. I think Clemson rolls from start to finish. I think they come out early and really make a statement because of the talk and say, no, maybe Syracuse could upset Clemson. The game day is going to be there, all of that. Because of all of that going into this game, I think Clemson is extra motivated. They come out early. They make a statement. They're up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, something like that, and then maybe they slow down a little bit. But yes, I think Clemson will roll in this game over Syracuse.